Welcome to the Bendano Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. Now, it's never going to happen. The whole organization, president that they just brought back, general manager that they just signed in the offseason, head coach that they just signed in the offseason, it all needs to be taken down and rebuilt. Shout out to Thanos, Stephanie White, Amber Cox, Kelly Kroskoff. They need to get blipped out of the Indiana Fever organization, and we need to bring in people who are competent, people who are used to actually being held accountable. See, part of this issue that's going on with the Chloe Bibby nonsense that's been going on with this Caitlin Clark injury charade, Caitlin Clark, we're going to get into that momentarily, is that they've never been held accountable. They've never actually had to answer to somebody, and that somebody being the fans. For so long, the WNBA, nobody really paid attention. They were able to lie to the fans, gaslight the fans, make them believe that they're watching something that's not what they're watching, make them buy into news that's not the truth, put false headlines with a terrible story written underneath. And then Caitlin Clark joined this league. And with Caitlin Clark joining this league, so did real sports fans. Sports fans that are used to some type of communication between them and the coaching staff, some type of communication between them and the front office, some type of transparency. Yeah, the front office, they're going to keep some things under wraps, but they're not going to hawk a loogie in the fans' face because they understand at the end of the day, the fans are the ones that are paying the bills. The fans are the ones that are uplifting organizations out of the poverty that the Indiana Fever were back in 2022, back in 2023, back in 2021, back in 20... The fans are the ones that uplifted this organization. Caitlin Clark landed in your lap. So Kelly Kroskoff and Amber Cox and Stephanie White, they thought they could get away with this same charade of lying to the people, lying to fans, stringing us along, gaslighting us, thinking that we don't see through the nonsense. Maybe a few years ago that would have worked with the 15,000 people that followed this league. Maybe, but that's not working anymore. This is the same organization that kept their mouth quiet on the whole entire DeWanna Bonner ordeal. You guys remember that? DeWanna Bonner out for personal reasons, out for personal reasons, out for personal reasons. One day fans wake up like, wait, what's going on here? Still no news. Then we have an article from Annie Constable that blew the lid off what's actually happening behind the scenes. And then, oh yeah, that's right. Let's put out a statement regarding DeWanna Bonner. Oh, next thing you know, she's traded the next day. For all we know, if that article never came out, DeWanna Bonner still would be out for personal reasons. For all we know. So when Stephanie White comes up to the media and she goes on ESPN and says Caitlin Clark's returning to practice and she's not returning to practice and she started sprinting and she's not started sprinting. When Stephanie White goes up in the media and talks about Chloe Bibby and her knee injury, oh, she didn't have a setback, she just has swelling in her knee. These are all things in the past that people might have just eaten up and not actually criticized. Might not have done some thinking about, wait, what's really going on here? We saw how Caitlin Clark reacted to the Connecticut Sun game. Many people said the way she reacted, she's probably not going to be coming back this year. Many people said the way she reacted, it's going to be at least a 2-month injury. The Indiana Fever, it was day to day as far as the Indiana Fever were concerned. You have medical professionals on YouTube, medical professionals publishing articles based on what they saw, said, yeah, that looks like a pretty severe injury. The Indiana Fever, she's a game time decision. She's probable. She's questionable. The Indiana Fever had a cash cow fall into their lap. And they were so short-sighted that they wanted to milk this year for everything they got while potentially sacrificing at minimum 50% of the fans that supported this team. Now, I, for one, have League Pass. I have all these different streaming things. I got Fubo. I have Prime. Shout out to my brother-in-law. I have YouTube TV. Shout out to my brother-in-law. I got things where I can watch the Indiana Fever games. I got League Pass just because. Shout out to everybody in the venue as well. I am thankful that I didn't spend a single dollar buying a jersey, buying a piece of merchandise, buying a basketball, buying a mug. Folks, you see this right here? There's at least 70 mugs sitting on this shelf right here. I'm glad I didn't invest in any of that. After how this season has transpired, I'm glad I didn't directly give the Indiana Fever a cent of anything that I have. They don't deserve it. Because that's all they're in it for. They're not in it to win games. They're not in it to win championships. They might have said that in the beginning of the season, but everything after that proves otherwise. We have people in the chat telling me, yeah, I had season tickets. I'm selling all of my season tickets. Yeah, I have a ticket to this game. Yeah, I'm selling that ticket. I stopped watching. I come and I check out the highlights. I come and I check out the comments. I'll come and I'll hang out in the venue because the chat's fucking the best on this side of the WNBA. Salute to the chat. But the Indiana Fever, the way that they've handled this whole entire season, they dropped the ball tremendously. If they would have came out up front saying, yeah, Caitlin Clark's out for at minimum 2 months, we'll reevaluate her then, fans probably wouldn't be reacting how they're reacting. If they were transparent with these injuries, fans wouldn't be acting how they're reacting. It's the same organization that sat her out all preseason with a quad. She comes back, she re-injures the quad. Stephanie White looks at us in our face and says, oh, it's completely different, completely two unrelated issues. They rush her back. She goes down against the Seattle Storm. They rush her back. She goes down against the Connecticut Sun. They bring her back for a 12 p.m. game against the Golden State Valkyrie, a 12 p.m. game when your body still isn't fully in the swing of things. The Indiana Fever signed Chloe Bibby earlier this year. Chloe Bibby, been a breath of fresh air. Ari McDonald, breath of fresh air. Ari McDonald, out for the season. Ari, get better. Cindy Colson, get better. Sophie Cunningham, brought her in the offseason. Breath of fresh air. Sophie, get better. Now we bring in Chloe Bibby. And Chloe Bibby is now out for the rest of the season as well, with a left knee injury. Which is strange, because this is 4 days after Stephanie White said she didn't consider the swelling in Chloe's knees to be a setback. Bibby has been ruled out for the season. It's their 4th season-ending injury. The Fever have signed Bree Hall to a hardship contract. Congratulations, we signed Bree Hall. Whatever. Welcome back to the squad, Bree. A team that's still lacking depth at the center position. Welcome back to the squad, Bree. We have Kelsey Mitchell, Odyssey Sims, Shea Petty, Lexi. Welcome back to the squad, Bree. Do we see how Dantas has been playing? We don't think we would need a big. We've needed another big all season long. We have aerial powers. She can handle the ball. She can play make a little bit. Welcome back to the squad, Bree. Again, this organization isn't serious. Doesn't strike me as a serious organization. And now we have Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever, they broke ground on their practice facility today. And I got sent the clip of them breaking ground. And the first sentence of that clip said, the Indiana Fever are gathering for a... And in my mind, before reading the rest of the excerpt, I was thinking, gathering for a meeting to discuss Caitlin Clark's injury status before this news that Stephanie White we're about to get into. On a separate note, Kathy Engelbert, congratulations. Congratulations, Kathy Engelbert. Remember all the interviews you did last year? Talking about, oh, if this player gets injured, we still need everybody else to... if this player gets injured, talking about the only player that people give a shit about. If this player gets injured, if this player gets injured, if this player gets injured, if she goes down, we still need other ladies. If she goes down... Congratulations, Kathy. You finally had your wish. If Pope's right and the powers that be wanted to dim her star, congratulations. You've dimmed it. Congratulations. You've held her out this whole entire season, haven't brought her back, and there's going to be a lockout next year, 2026. Between the WNBA, the Indiana Fever, whomever, this season was royally botched on every single level. fans sticking in, showing support, even with getting spit in the face. Watching the games, even with getting spit in the face. Reviewing the game, even with getting spit in the face. If you can go through this season, how this season transpired, and you can say to yourself, I still trust Kelly Krauskopf. If you say to yourself, I still trust Amber Cox. If you still say to yourself, I trust Stephanie White. I need to get that type of optimism. Because I'm looking at the glass right now, and the glass is looking extremely half empty. All these players talking about the jealousy of Caitlin Clark. Oh, watching because of Me Too. I'm not even talking about Angel Reese here. All these players said watching because of Me Too. Angel Reese is just the only popular one out of the bunch of bums that spoke up. All these players were talking about how big the WNBA has gotten, how much it's growing. WNBA is not getting big. WNBA is not growing. With Caitlin Clark not playing a bulk of this season, 75% of this season, Caitlin Clark not playing, how many WNBA segments have they had on First Take? How many times have you seen them talk about the WNBA on FS1? How many times do you see them talk about everybody watches women's sports? How often do you see them boasting about ratings? Not often at all. When it comes to the shows and the segments, 0. That's the correct answer. When it comes to the ratings, yeah, they try to make the ratings sound good. But we've already talked about the ratings over here. We've already talked about how they've fluffed up the numbers when it comes to the ratings on TV. How last year it was big data only through the airwaves. How this year they're taking big data plus big panel streaming, combining it together. So if you're telling me we're only up 6% after combining cable ratings and streaming ratings, then that seems down to me, mathematically speaking. Let's hear what Stephanie White had to say about Caitlin Clark and this return.
Have enough time.
Yeah, we really want to use this West Coast trip to evaluate. We're going to sit down after practice today and hopefully have a direction soon.
Do you anticipate you guys would decide and maybe even say something publicly between now and Tuesday, just given the amount of time
Yeah,
left?
I think that's the hope. We knew that we had a stretch over the weekend to really see where we are, and the hope is to sit down and have an answer one way or another. Yeah.
What's the furthest she's gone to this point?
And the furthest she's gone.
How much has she been able to get accomplished?
She hasn't been able to do a whole lot of contact. So she's been able to get up and down 5-on-0, been able to get shooting, but hasn't been able to get a whole lot of contact.
Injuries have been the story of the season, but you have to.
Why don't any of these people ask her why she's been traveling with this team this whole entire time? A season-ending injury. Why has she been traveling with the team this whole entire time? Why hasn't she been getting treatment? Why hasn't she been getting rehab? Why do you guys feel the need to string her along like a circus animal to sign autographs? Let all the other big stars sign autographs. Let AB sign autographs. Let Lexi sign autographs. Let Ariel Powers sign autographs. Let Natasha Howard sign autographs. We're going to have a meeting with Caitlin Clark and the coaching staff and the training staff, and I'm assuming Caitlin Clark's team as well. There's five games left. There's 5 days left. The season ends the 9th. There's 5 days. What meeting can we possibly need? Oh, it's the end of the season now, and you've already milked everybody dry for as long as you can milk them for, so I guess now's the time for a statement. Instead of 2 months ago saying Caitlin Clark suffered a severe groin strain, grade 1, whatever the fuck, she'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks. But no, you had to say day to day, game time decision, probable, questionable, to continue to get fans hoped, to continue to keep their hopes up, to continue to get people to waste their time, money, energy, flying out to these games, driving to these games, buying tickets. And I know what many people are saying, well, the Indiana Fever, they're already sold out. Yeah, they might have already been sold out as far as a face value ticket goes. You don't think they worry about all the concession stands in the arena? You don't think they think, "Ooh, we got to somehow get all these people still in this building so they can come and buy all of our jerseys. They can come and buy all of our apparel. They can buy our shorts, our shirts." It's one whole big business. Just because the seats are sold out, it's only part of it. That's only part of it. Imagine selling food and drinks to 17,276 people compared to 6,025 people, something like the Dallas Wings. I don't even think the Dallas Wings average that many people. You guys get the point. Imagine selling jerseys to 17,276 people compared to 3,050 people. That's more like the Dallas Wings number. Again, I'm not sure how you can look at Kelly and Stephanie and Amber and say, "Oh yeah, I trust them." And what are we going to get? Furthermore, what are we going to get? Is Caitlin Clark going to speak to the media? Is she going to give us a tweet like she did All-Star Game? Where has she been? Why has they been keeping her under lock and key? Why have they continuously said Caitlin Clark's not available to the media, Caitlin Clark's not available to the media, Caitlin Clark's not available to the media? During her groin injury, during her quad injury earlier in the season, she was available to the media, but now she's not available to the media? That's interesting. During the quad that she was dealing with in the preseason, she was available, but now she's not available. That's interesting. During the quad she was dealing with early in the season, she was available, but now she's not available. They knew something all along. They just refused to tell you. They knew Caitlin Clark wasn't returning all along. They just refused to tell you. Appreciate you guys for joining me on this one big soliloquy. This one big tangent right here. Is Caitlin Clark even good to go? Are they keeping her out purposely? Or do they lie to us about the injury? Additionally, fuck that groin. Maybe the groin's all healed. And they're too far deep in the lie that they can't say the groin's all healed. Maybe it was an ankle injury. Maybe she fucked up her ankle. Who the fuck knows? I doubt it. But at this point, everything needs to be on the table with these shady, slimy ladies. These shady, slimy snake oil salesmen. I'm glad I didn't spend $1 on this organization this year. I saw a jacket I liked. Fuck it. $100. I'm too cheap. You guys know that. I saw a mug. I'm good on that. Whatever goodwill that they built up, it's gonzo. It's finished. Kaputs. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. So you just take people for granted long enough, and eventually they'll wake up and say, "Yeah, I wanted to root for the team. I really did." Not me speaking for the people now. "Yeah, take us for granted long enough. Yeah, I wanted to root for you guys. I want to root for everybody. But I see what's going on here. So now I'll just pick you, Caitlin. I'll pick you, Lexi. I'll pick you, Sophie. I'll pick you, Timson. I'll pick you, Chloe. And everybody else can go bye-bye." But we know the deal. Caitlin Clark leaves Indiana. See ya. Peace out, Indy. That whole 2027 training facility, there might not be a year next year. There might not be a 2026. So Caitlin's going to have 1 year in that training facility. If 1 year. Assuming they reach a deal. Assuming the league doesn't completely fold by then. And they need to start up a new deal. And there's a whole facility built with no inhabitants. Let me know what you guys think. In the comment section below, I appreciate all of the support. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. We'll see you next time, and as always, take it easy.